at the point when you joined, Shopee was number one already, right? Or Shopee was bigger than Lazada already. You were at a disadvantage already.
He's just trying to make a point.
See it in there, you know. Shopee number one. Hey guys, welcome to our first episode. Because it's the first episode, we don't know how to start this, but we'll just go straight direct to what we actually know. And today, I managed to actually invite some of my friends, ex-Lazada people, all right? And the background here is because we're ex-Shopee people.
Yeah.
So we kind of want to understand, after we are a group of exes, basically, right? So we used to be enemies to a certain degree.
True.
I think even before I joined tech, right, I've always got this question, and I think we kind of want to dig a little bit deeper, right? So is actually tech that sexy? Like based on our experience, actually after moving out of tech, is it sexy?
I personally think tech is actually quite sexy, right? Because we are at the forefront of where the market is. We are experiencing, we're shaping how users interact with our platforms. Right. And I think that's really great, right? To be able to see the impact you have and you can be able to create for the market. So I personally think it is sexy. Over you.
Even after all the late nights and all that, it's still sexy?
Yeah, I think it's an experience to go through, regardless for anyone from any background, right? I think it's a very good training ground for people.
I wouldn't say the word sexy.
Okay.
It's maybe a bit overrated to say sexy because at the end of the day, you still want to be sexy, right? Yep. If you left the industry. How I would see it is, yes, a good place where you can learn a lot of different things. When you go out, definitely portfolio is nicer. Things that you get is never-ending changes, constantly picking up new things.
At least 3 times a month.
More than that, maybe. So depending how crazy your bosses are. At the same time, it gives you a lot of different perspective in a sense that how you see things work, whether on the tech or non-tech side within the company itself.
Right.
So, and of course, my side is a bit different. Maybe we can talk about that later.
Okay.
So I would say some way, yes, sexy, and some other parts of it, which you want to hide it, not so sexy.
I want to try to get real answers from you guys, man. This is very corporate answers, guys. So maybe just a very quick round, like what do you do in Lazada, or what you used to do in Lazada?
I used to be the head of seller brand marketing.
Okay.
So it's a very long name, but it's all about marketing for sellers. So seller facing is B2B.
Recruiting sellers over to the platform.
Yes, in the sense on that side of the commercial. So it's nothing to do with selling directly to consumer. So it's making sure that there are people to sell things on the platform.
All right.
Yeah, and that's where the flywheel cycle begins and all that.
Okay.
I was heading digital goods. So digital goods is essentially getting people to buy online and getting them to redeem offline.
Right.
So we were quite the opposite of what the e-commerce business really was, because we stood for the lifestyle as a pillar for the company. So how do we get them to engage on a daily basis, make payments for your bills, purchase your coupons, redeem them offline. So and it was also part of the wallets team. So making payments online, using your wallet.
So it's both also more or less seller. It's just one for the seller side. That means you sell product, and then the other one is more like digital products, like your Maxis reloads and stuff like that, right? You can actually do it on the Lazada platform, right? So Kiefer, actually very different from what we do. We're more buyer fronting actually.
Yeah, we were more to buyer fronting and more to community, that kind of serving to the community and more to engaging with that kind of digital platforms, more or less, right?
Your side there, the time was what?
That time I was mainly into Shopee Food and Shopee Pay, more to the community lead as well. So what we do is we still do a lot of campaigns, social media campaigns, and we do live streams, and we do such as community surveys as to engaging with the kind of social media posts. So to engage to the consumers lah.
Yeah, man, we're more or less the same because my one is the main Shopee brand. So actually our job is to build community, create social media content, a little bit more fun, a bit more buyer branding. So definitely don't have the B2B, more serious, talking to clients kind of vibe compared to you guys. So I think we can all agree that it's quite intense on both sides, right? I think we've moved from 1 double-digit campaign a month all the way to 2-3 campaigns a month. And I think it's intense. So after that said and done, right? would you guys still recommend someone to join? Like with all the craziness and everything, back-to-back campaigns, midnight standbys.
I don't know about Shopee. Well, in Lazada, there's a lot of fun to it. So friends saw that, wow, quite happening. There's a lot of things happening. You got free stuff, free booze, you got free food, you got free games and all that.
Actually got free booze.
Definitely. It's part of the deal. Okay. So that's the fun part of it, which everyone sees. At the end of the day, of course, still need to be done, right? I mean, I still remember there are teasing night, there are campaign day, D-Day and all that. And what actually leads to that is you see a lot of things happening behind the scene. It's quite chaos. Chaos in the sense that it's adrenaline also for the people that's working on it. It's fun, to be honest. If you like challenges, yes.
Give me an example of the chaos. Like what kind of chaos was the worst experience?
Chaos. I would say getting things done. You know what you need to do based on your job scope, right? If you're in commercial, definitely numbers is going to be the big part of it.
Yep.
If you are of the supporting, making sure products are actually there, tools are actually on point for people to use, asking them to join campaign, it's of course the must-have thing before it begins. I wouldn't say I'm in the biggest piece of but
your job is more before the campaign,
yes.
right? So getting the sellers actually on board on the campaign before that, correct?
Yes, making sure communication out to them, saying that to hype things out.
And I think
they must join before, the deadlines and all that. Yeah.
But that's where the competition actually starts, right? And that's where Shopee do the exact same thing, right? So then the brand had to decide whether to put more money on Lazada or put more money on Shopee.
Yes.
Like that's the part where it's a little bit more challenging for you guys. It's like to be the first one to announce a better campaign in that sense.
Yeah, true. Because there's always insider, definitely from both sides.
Really, there's a lot of spies. Yeah, but
no doubt, right?
Yeah, we're frenemies.
Yes. So on my end, we don't deal with all that part of it that much. But so my team actually handles a lot on the marketing side of it, which is prior even to sellers start selling. So making sure that they know Lazada exists as one of the platforms that they can sell their products on, right? So making sure that the brand is out there. To tell them, hey, sell with Lazada while you're also selling in other platforms. We do the fun part, like what you said. We do the content, we did all the videos, we did all the campaigns in a sense, and marketing campaign, branding activities. We handle TikTok account, but on the seller side, TikTok,
So
Instagram,
you guys got
Facebook.
another seller TikTok account or seller social media account?
Yes, we do have that. That's only for sellers. So the narrative of the content is actually very different. Different in the sense that you're not talking to them as a buyer.
Yeah.
You're talking to them as a seller.
Right.
Yeah.
And how big is that social media team?
It's actually
I'm
very
curious.
small.
Very
Very lean team that I have, including myself, is about 3 of us. So we have to run all the social media channels. We have to think about the branding activities, working closely with, of course, regional team. So, sometimes we have different ideas, we have different kind of objectives and also things that we want to achieve at the end of the day. So a lot of talkings runs around during campaign day.
Do you guys work with agencies or
No.
all in-house, right?
All in-house.
Okay.
All purely based on these 3 persons.
So including the content direction also,
Of course, we have
purely done in-house.
Yes, because there is a bigger team where the creatives team comes in, the videographer, the photographers, actually putting all the efforts to roll out things. Yeah, but it's definitely all in-house.
Nick, do you get to do videos and stuff like that?
What kind of videos?
I don't know, like do you run campaigns or do you run like similar stuff? I mean, your part there is to convince people to actually wait. Is it buyer fronting? It's seller fronting, right?
So part of the role will be to identify who will actually benefit from digital goods, right? I joined during MCO, right? So we had a lot of food sellers that were impacted during that time. So how could we help? That's where we actually came in to look at the market to see that, okay, maybe we can help them with pickup services. So people could purchase in advance, drop by, pick it up and bring it back. So we were looking at opportunities like that. There were some brands that came in that could not sell at all. For example, massages, Healthland, for instance. They would close for how long?
Quite some time because
For a
I'm trying
year,
to
right?
get some
Yeah,
really
probably
good
about a
massage
year,
during
right?
that whole year.
But of course, they couldn't sell, they couldn't operate at all.
Yep.
But they wanted to move money, right? So we spoke to them and said, why don't we pre-sell? So when everything opens again, people can start coming in.
Right.
So that way also they can somewhat secure their
Preparation before it opened at the time. Okay.
So yeah, I think that was more of what digital goods did, and also spotting opportunities in the market where, say, there's a bill payment that could potentially benefit a lot of users. Let's say like mine personally at my place, for Gas Malaysia, I have to pay,
Convenience.
Yeah, so it's convenience, right? So how do we get payments on board?
Right.
Yeah.
But are they usually very resistant? I mean, I would have imagined it would be a no-brainer to a certain degree, right? Is there
To do for what, sorry?
to be just on the platform so that it's easier for anyone to pay, right?
Yeah, but to some platforms, it's tech. Whether they are capable of doing it.
Right.
There's quite a lot of different factors.
I
involved.
see. Okay. And do you guys assist them with that, or if they don't have the tech, then you're on your own kind of situation, or pretty much that?
Yeah, pretty much like that. Yeah.
I see.
So we'll try to support as much as we can, but on tech side, it's going to be sensitive. We won't be able to touch their back end and stuff like that. So
Okay. Based on all those, right? So it's like, what have you guys learned? And would you actually advise anyone else to actually go through the pain and hurdles that you guys have to go through? Let's start with what you guys would learn at the very least.
A lot. I mean, definitely a lot to learn if you have the passion for it. Because you hear a lot of friends saying, or even colleagues saying, oh, burnout, and it's enough. I just don't want this anymore. There are people like that, but there are people saying this is really good in a sense that it fuel me in a sense, energy, as energize them, because they can just work day and night, and still love what they do. I don't know, maybe younger crowds or younger people actually do have that kind of energy.
Actually, from both sides, our average age are actually quite young, right? How old are average, roughly? Do you know?
When I joined, I think two and a half years ago, it's about 31 or 2.
Oh, then Shopee is much younger.
Yes, and then after that, after a year after or so, they were saying about 29
Right.
average age.
So it got younger.
You got younger. Makes sense lah.
Okay.
You need to bring in young crowds. I mean, young talent.
Because as a
to shape-
company, they still require fresh blood, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And would you encourage anyone to join to go through this?
Would you?
I think I would.
Why?
I think it's a very good experience for just employees in general, from whatever background, right? To see how these Chinese companies operate as well. And when they talk about efficiency, it's no joke. They are really efficient. So I think it really opened my eyes to see how they really operate, see how they look at goals and how they actually think to get there. I think it's quite amazing.
Compared to any other company, maybe locally?
I think it's different.
Very different.
It's very different. But I mean, you have your pros and cons.
Yep.
You learn from what's good from working with all these different employers, right? And benefit out of it. Yeah.
But it still comes back to the whole thing, right? Like tech are more focused to numbers, I think, right? So they always chase numbers, right? Week in, week out, that's the only thing you see.
PTSD, man.
Yeah, man. but how's that? Like is that better? Do other companies do it enough? Do you think we should do that more?
I personally was not from an industry that is super hyper focused into numbers. So being able to experience that really got me to see both sides of it, right?
Right.
How usual corporations run their companies and how they are so hyper focused on numbers and constantly just chasing the numbers for everything that they do, whether is it campaigns or whether is it seller onboarding. So everything is driven down to a number, which I found very, very interesting. And I think I took that forward in my career, and I think it helped me be a bit more focused in terms of where I want to head to and how I want to get there.
Which one do you think works better? Because often or not, sometimes I think other companies, I mean, KPIs change.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, so usually like sometimes we're looking at this number, maybe for social media context per se, it's like one day is followers, the next day is views, right? So, but I understand tech companies are a little bit more focused in that sense, at least from my experience, right? If we identify that number, that's the number that we want to aim for already, and it's and we kind of do all our initiative just to move that number one way or the other, week in, week out, right? So, which one do you think is a little bit like better, at least on your choice, like?
I would prefer looking at numbers, being able to align and focus on reaching that number together with the team. I think that really has an impact as a company.
You guys going to go back to tech or not after that experience? I think
Yes, I would.
you would.
And
go
what
through
company that
that
you prefer want to go?
So if I say it here, will somebody see and hire me now?
Maybe, I don't know. I really don't know. But usually the first episode no one see one. So yeah. But which tech company?
I don't see, I mean, I wouldn't pick specific company or tech company based on, there isn't one specific one, but how I see the company growth or the vision, or if you can somehow know that this product is actually heading the right way, or this company is actually in the trend. I wouldn't say trend is a good thing, but it's definitely something that people want to buy or have, or the services or product that they offer is things that we want to get on. I would prefer to pick company like that, which is a bit more forefront.
Which is
I don't have one in mind right now.
But any tech company would do. I mean, like, let's be fair here, right? Malaysia don't really have a lot of tech company to choose from, right? I mean, when I say tech company, I mean like really, really tech. Like, I mean, sorry, but I don't really consider Google, Meta. I mean, it's more a sales hub rather than a tech company that actually push innovation, at least for our region. Again, is there any tech company that we are interested to explore? Nick, would you go back?
I think I would.
You would.
And if you ask me, looking at the market and just the tech companies that, like what you mentioned, that are in the forefront, shaping users' behavior and how we interact with these different platforms that's available today. So with players like Grab, right? There'll be players like Touch and Go. Shopee, I think Shopee is still innovating and changing, right? All these companies, I think, are going to be very interesting places to be at.
Right.
I think you get to learn a lot.
But if you were to choose one, I'm going to force you that. If you have to choose one, which
Maybe
one?
you can use the name just T
Alphabets.
alphabet. Use alphabet to represent.
I'll probably start my own tech company.
That's interesting part.
Why not?
Why not?
Okay.
Okay. If you were to start, then what kind of industry would you be more interested in? I'm just throwing things only at you at this point.
I think somewhere along building communities.
Right.
I think that's something I'm passionate about. It could be podcast, working with you again. We'll see. Haven't really thought about it yet, but
Yeah, I know this round memang kena force one. I get it. It's fine. Okay, how was it done by Lazada at that point of time?
I think that's is a no secret to the industry. It wasn't being done nicely.
All right.
Like a lot of people commented.
Yep.
I guess it's just in a very harsh manner, very rushed manner maybe.
Okay.
Wasn't being handled nicely. So therefore, I think somehow it hurts the brand a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, the name a little bit. That's how I felt.
But for you that time, like, how was that day? Let's just talk about that day.
To me, it's fine in the sense that I talked about it a lot to a lot of people, and I said it's a blessing in disguise for me. Apparently, at that kind of situation, and there's a lot of thinking, thoughts about it. Why did I say so, and how is that? Because I want to, hide behind the scene of saying, "Oh, I'm fine, I'm good at everything," and all that. No, it's actually not. So I take it with very open in a sense that if it's not me, then who? It's also a good reset for me.
Right.
Yeah, it's honestly to be sooner or later, whether I'm going to be in there longer or not. Do I even have the passion in there anymore, or is the company going to give me what I want after all? So I've been there for 2 years. I think it's a nice number to know what's the industry all about, learn about the company, about the culture, about how tech work, especially e-commerce. Made a lot of friends. Also, it becomes something that you gain. Maybe end of the day, I can use that back and have my own startup as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And that day happened very suddenly. Like, did you know that you'll get a call? I mean, how did it happen? Did it happen face to face or?
Yeah, it happened face to face. All you get is.
So you didn't know that day happened? Like, you walked in the office like any other regular day?
what was your experience that day? How did you get the news?
Okay, honestly, I can't remember right now. It's half a year ago, but I remember I received an email invite for a meeting, a face-to-face meeting with the HRBP. Then you know already.
You know already at that point of time. So the email was the giveaway lah.
Yes,
right?
yes, correct. So that's it. Then I was like, okay.
HR spoke to you or your lead who spoke to you?
HRBP, and also the lead. Together.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was okay in the sense that, I've already seen that coming. So they were saying, if you were to receive an invite, then that's it.
Okay.
So that will be it. So I didn't get it on the first day where some of them already gotten it.
Right.
So I was just waiting, to be honest. I was just waiting. Yeah, and I was like, okay lah, if I've got it, to me, it's blessing in disguise.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to you somehow that you are mentally you are
Prep,
prepared.
prep for it.
You are
that's right.
aware.
You're
Correct.
I wasn't aware on that. I wasn't aware. So the day that I still remember, after having a good lunch with my colleagues, then I went back to the office. Then my lead said, "Come, hey Kiefer, can we have a talk?" Because he never texted me to come for a talk.
No calendar invite.
No calendar invite. Just asked me to come to one of the meeting room. So then I went in. Then I just say, "Hey, what's up?" Then he said, "Oh, so sorry that we going to retrenchment. So your name is in the whitelist. Then I wasn't aware. I was a bit surprised, and I need some time to process my feeling. But after a few hours of that, I rethink that I feel a bit disappointment because I thought that I'm safe. That went through about fifth round of the retrenchment process. Then this is the sixth round, right?
That one is sixth round. Already,
Six rounds already. So I thought that I'm safe, but unfortunately I'm not safe, right? Then a bit disappointment. But the moments that then I say, hope, look. So what's the process for now? So my lead didn't tell me that the process because he also don't know what is the process going to be. So after a few hours, I received an email from HR. Then HR give me an options to whether you want to stay. If you stay, this is a package that we go into the separation contract. This is the package that we are going to offer you. Otherwise, there's another offer that we have to change to other departments. So yeah, that.
So for your case, there was a choice lah.
There was a choice, but the option B wasn't great.
Okay.
Wasn't great. The moment you look at it, then you say, I don't think that my front tech is not there. Right? Because my special is not there, right? So I don't think I can perform there. If you put me there, I don't think I'm look good on my resume as well. So I may as well take the BSS just for my own good. Yeah.
Which I'm quite sure the compensation for the both is quite nice also, right?
Not that bad. Yeah.
Not that bad.
I think Shopee didn't treat me that bad as well.
But your one also quite in the beginning, because I think if I remember correctly, I think Shopee actually did it quite early
stage.
They were one of the few
Quite
that
cruel.
actually did it
They're quite
first.
cruel.
I mean, I might, okay, a little bit biased, but I might not say the word cruel. I think probably a bit more, they saw a problem and they tried to resolve it. And it's,
Correct.
of course, depending on perspective, it could be quite cruel. And I think it's a very, very different style when it came to Lazada. Lazada was in phases. I believe the last time that they did it was Jan and May, actually this year. They were still going on, right? So they were doing it in like
Batches, small batches.
very slowly, yeah, like paying for installment like that. But yeah, man, compensation must be good. I mean, especially those that is in the earlier stage, right? So I don't need you guys to tell me how much, but maybe just tell me when to stop. Then I'll stop roughly like.
Who's first? Yes.
I'm already counting already.
I'm not gonna tell you.
All right, fine. So, but at least I know that it's roughly quite. Me and Nick a bit jealous lah, but yeah.
Really?
Okay, the monetary part a bit lah, right? So, okay. So I mean, but in comparison, right? Let's say the way Shopee did it and the way Lazada did it. I mean, which one do you guys prefer? One off, or drag the pain, or in phases?
I think one off is a good one.
Yeah,
Right.
It's a better option. The reason being is for those who stayed behind, it's quite emotional
every day is Hunger
turbulence
Games.
for them.
Every day is Hunger Games.
Yeah, it's like, okay, when is gonna be the next one? Is it am I gonna get a backup plan right now?
Do you guys hear that from your from all those ex-colleagues that you have? Like even after you chow already, like do you hear that? Like every day is an uncertainty.
We heard that there are a couple of waves or a couple of rounds lah. That's what makes people like. So do I still work harder right now, or do I just
Just wait for the moment.
just wait for it, or
Quiet quitting, is it?
Yeah, it's a lot of things playing in your mind at that point of time. Whether
Right.
you are performing, non-performing, doesn't matter. We just need you to be out because we just want to downsize, or we are just seeing too many redundancy on job or works and all that. We just want to shrink it. That's different 1 million of excuses or reasons for them to do whatever they need to do.
Yeah.
Right.
And the worst part, I think you don't have visibility on that at all.
Yeah, and you
Yeah.
don't get transparency in terms of why.
Yeah.
Why me? Why you? Why
Yeah.
they? I mean,
Yeah.
these are the
The
things that you don't bother asking. To be honest, don't bother asking. It's what do you get out of it?
But
Right.
after which, do you ask yourself why you? Or you're clear?
I'm very clear.
You're very clear.
Yeah, I sort of. I think I give myself a reason why, and I stick with that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's when I say, okay, it's a blessing in disguise.
Right. So but at least that self-awareness and
Yeah.
and okay, and then it's easier to accept in that sense lah. Which I think it does affect productivity. At least from where I see, I think I was there before and after.
Yeah.
I do think that it does affect, right?
But what do you see? I mean, how different would people feel like, oh, my next door neighbor is actually no longer
Morale.
here?
I think morale, right? So morale actually went down. Yeah. So that uncertainty, right? You do see, and sometimes you do like there's just the uncertainty. Like it's not as motivated as we used to be already. I think last time it was this tech craze, right? Like, literally, like we can do no wrong. We're always up top. We're number one, right? So we're always winning. And yeah, and then everything just changed 360, which life is fair, and I think it does have to have some sort of balance. You can't keep winning all the time, right? So I think it's bound to happen, but it humbles everyone else, lah. I think, but of course some people cannot tahan lah, cannot take it lah, right? The uncertainty does drive them. So I do also see people who cannot take it and they show letter willingly even after.
Yeah.
Right. So it was a period where talents was just automatically draining out from the company. But again, depending on which perspective, money and cents, dollar or feelings, but bottom line is I still think that it's still a business,
Yeah.
I might be a bit more ruthless in that sense, one can say. I think it needs to have a balance, both sides,
Yeah, of course.
but I definitely prefer the email notification first rather than the hey bro, can I have 5 minutes?
Let's have a chat.
Yeah, man. But then I actually, come back to the retrenchment and stuff like that. I mean, Lazada still does it, and I believe I read somewhere that Alibaba actually pumped in another 230 million. I think 2 months ago. I think in May. What do you think the play here is, like? I've again, you guys are our competitors to a certain degree. I'm still trying to figure out. Like the last I heard, I think it's IPO. That's what they're aiming for. Is that still the case? You think they were planning for IPO? I think this year.
Yeah, they were saying that, but I'm not sure. I don't have insights.
You don't have insight on that one.
Don't have.
Right.
A lot of hearsay and all that. But you only know when it happens.
Correct.
Yeah.
But actually, to IPO, it's the number to focus on. Then it will be revenue and profit, net profit, basically. So that's I think it's going to be the same with Shopee.
That's probably the case. Yeah.
I see. But do you know why IPO when you already have backing from Mr. Jack himself?
Idea. Not there. Wasn't there at that time.
Not there anymore.
Above all our pay grades. Yeah, sorry.
Above my
pay grade.
All small potato at this point. Yeah. But I think is there any regrets though? After all that said and done, any regrets? Anything that you would do differently?
Regrets? I don't think so. Probably, if I'm still there, I would probably try harder on the different things. There are things that when you try to push forward and it doesn't work, but it's damn good. You just want to make it happen and try it out and prove it to people, but you don't get that chance all the time, and you have to create it yourself. I would say sometimes opportunity don't come by, but you just have to find ways to create it. I guess at that point of time, we are too reluctant to push further. I'm saying on my department or on my divisions, I would say, because sometimes we are just not very clear what the top are actually doing, what they want you to do. For Lazada, I'm just saying, it becomes a lot of things that this can be done. This is interesting. Why don't we try this? But end of the day, you don't manage to even reach higher enough to get a say or a chance to even share that out.
You guys, punya side of the world, is it very hierarchical? Is it very tall, the hierarchy?
Not
really.
Not really, right?
We work quite closely with the CEO. So during my time.
During my time, I think there are a couple of layers, but it's just that my team or our division is not the main division or where we are not a team that creates or generate money at the end of the day. It's all about spending, marketing, right? We always have this perception, revenue generated department will have more say.
Right.
Yeah, or like commercial sales team, they will have more visibility, sales and all that.
No wonder we marketing never because we always spend money only.
Yeah,
At least you get to spend, right? We have very small budget. For our seller side, it's non-existent.
Our side also very small budget. We won't say that it's a lot of budget to begin with. But I think Shopee does things a little bit differently. I think most tech company does a lot of things in-house. Like if I were to work for another client, for example, maybe they are more reliant on agency. My background is from agency, right? So then they will use marketing agencies and advertising agencies a little bit more. But Shopee is a little bit different. They do a lot of things in-house. Everything from social media team all the way to video production. TVC also we shoot in-house.
Voice recording as
Yeah,
well.
we have our own studio.
Live stream.
Yeah. So is it the same there? Like you guys also have your own studio and stuff
Yes,
like that?
yes, we did it all in-house. I think the buyer's marketing team has a bit more freedom or flexibility in working with agency because usually bigger campaigns than the seller marketing side of it. Ours is very in-house. We have our own video team, creative team to do whatever we need to do in a smaller scale, definitely. But it's actually quite fortunate for us to have 2 designers, 1 videographers. We did a bit of videos, shoot, and all that. It's good that we managed to get a headcount for that. That gives us more things to play with. If not, it's just going to be static visual reels. It's quite boring, right? Throughout that 2 years lah. So we get to work with KOL just to shout out on seller acquisition.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Lazada in total, you guys still got work with agencies, right?
Yes, they do have on project basis.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's
but
not on a retainer basis. All right.
that I'm not very sure because
Okay.
on my end, yes, we did have like some projects like an annual thingy that we do with on the regional side of it, so high level side
Regional
of it.
skills lah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So only those that we managed to get agency to work with us lah. Other than that, it's all in house.
I see.
All bao ka liao one.
Majority all in-house.
Yeah, I think 80%, not 90% of us
90.
is all done in-house.
Yeah.
Except for media buy, we only go for the media agency.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, that's it. The rest of it, just anything materials is all come from Shopee. The materials is from.
So even like your DVCs,
Dude,
all produced in-house. Your Ronaldos,
last
your-
time don't, right? So
Yeah.
then ever since then, I took over. Then after kena paksa by boss to build a team that can do that.
Yeah.
So that happened, and I think 1-2 years after that, it's like we do in-house already, bro. The only thing that we actually get externally is the raw material. So from the gaffers, the videographers, director also we have in-house.
Yeah.
But the crew lah, we basically do it external lah.
Yeah.
But that one at least we pay on a cheaper price lah. So no longer 200,000-300,000 for one TVC because the amount of TVC that we're actually producing is just insane volume.
Yeah.
We're talking about 2-3 TVC a month, right? And you can't go to that scale if you just external agency lah. It's going to be much more.
There was a campaign that we did was really last minute and it was super fun.
Okay.
We even save on talent. We scout talent from our 2 levels, the two floors.
All
So
in-house,
all
sure, in-house.
in-house employees, staffs from Lazada, we just pick and we just ask them who actually want to participate in this
Right.
campaign. It's going to be an ad. We're going to pay for it. Your face going to be seen
Wait, they pay the talent get paid compensated a little bit.
a little bit.
A little bit
Did Shopee pay for our talent?
I
Let's
think
talk about it. Let's not talk about it.
we don't pay cash. We
Okay.
paid vouchers. We
Right.
buy vouchers as in Lazada vouchers lah. We pay back. That.
Internally also give free shipping voucher.
Yes, ship as fast as you can. Yeah, in the sense of that.
Okay.
So it's very minimal. But these are people that wanted to contribute to the company, and they say don't mind if it's even if you don't pay me. I'm willingly wakes up 5 o'clock a.m. I think our call time is at 5 a.m.
Wow.
They need to be there like 1.5 hours earlier just to do makeup, set up, and then shoot for the whole day,
Okay.
and then get nothing. They still want to do it, but it's, it just we don't get to do all this very often, and it happens to have a budget to do it, and we want to run it, and we said, how can we get about, I think 20 talents, all walks of life, different from different departments. Yeah, we just gathered them in less than 1 week. We just asked the whole company who actually want to participate in this shoot. It's going to be everywhere in KL. Yeah, and they just come.
Nick didn't join, Nick.
No, we didn't have anything like that at my time.
That's why I think that time when she joined already, it's like age younger participation rate
bit
and also
fun.
higher.
Yeah, she tried to engage with the younger crowd.
Do we see any like difference? I think Shopee became number 1 after
Yeah,
Ronaldo.
Were they?
After Ronaldo. Yeah, lah, of course lah. We,
It's something that we try not to admit most of the time. It's, no.
I was actually asking Nick just now also, like Yeah, man, how was the sentiment there? I mean, the minute Shopee actually took over, I think if I remember correctly, it was slightly after Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Shopee
Yeah.
Ronaldo. How did you guys take it? Like, is it like it's okay, it's just temporary, or
I think during my time when that happened, the leaders were still very focused. They were not really looking at Shopee. They were saying that let's focus on our own path. We've got our goals and let's still look at our goals. While I know at that time, Shopee's targets were always it was orders, right?
Yep. We were focusing on orders, right? You guys were focusing on
GMV.
Yeah,
Yes.
GMV.
Yeah. So we were still very focused on our own targets, but at the same time, we, the working level, were facing a lot of pushbacks from sellers as well. They were saying like, oh, we were told to be on exclusive with Shopee, and we couldn't participate with you. So that was impacting us on the commercial side, right? And we are bringing this up to the management and said, okay, let's just continue focusing and see what we can do around it. Right, but something that they also shared was that Shopee is going through that phase where they're splashing money, right? They've got money to splash. So they were sharing that, Lazada is already over that phase. So eventually, things will get back to normal. So I think that was pretty much the mentality during that
But
time.
before that, were you guys keeping an eye on the back rear mirror or not when you guys were moving?
Of course, as the operations team, we were always comparing with Shopee, right? We had to know what is Shopee working on,
Right.
But of course, we also had our own targets of what we wanted to do and how we wanted to do it. But yeah, of course, we will hear news that like during that time, my team was just a team of 3. And I knew at that time Shopee's digital goods team and also wallet had a team of 30.
Right.
So it was 10 times more people, and they were doing everything for the sellers. They were saying like, don't worry about this. We will do the operations for you. We'll set up the account for you.
Promise first, suffer
Yes.
later. Kind. Okay.
So I knew at that point Shopee was scaling in terms of resources, but we were, on the other hand, we were just 3 of us, and we were like, oh man, what are we going to do? Yeah, so it was challenging for sure.
But you personally, did you like when that happened? Did you thought that it was temporary, or you knew that, oh shit?
I knew it was.
Were you hopeful that you can still get back number 1 or not at that point of time?
At that point of time, I think my side, we were still number 1. So I think we were different.
It's
We were
our
different.
mentality.
Yeah, it was different. I think it was very different.
So you moved the goalpost a little bit lah.
pretty much. Like, okay, Shopee is aiming there. Let's aim here. So we were just looking at a different segment of the business as well.
Right. Okay. And then at the point when you joined, Shopee was number 1 already, right? Or Shopee was bigger than Lazada already. You were at a disadvantage already.
He's just trying to make a point.
See it in there, you know. Shopee number 1.
I don't know. I mean, as in, it's always a dilemma where do you want to admit it, or do you just want to say, oh, we are always the best. We've been there before. I think we can be there again, or be back there again. Whether you're delusional or not, So at the end of the day, it's what speaks is still numbers, right? So it's not a job of a one person or just one department. It's a job of the entire company or the entire leadership team to bring people in together. There are challenges between internal challenges where some people are not aligned. So that's very difficult for things to move. And I think this happens in almost all companies.
Yeah.
You know, there are times that where your goalposts keep moving. But it doesn't matter, to be honest. The goalpost is there. As long as you know where it moves, or the team actually knows where it goes, it all goes together. Even if from left to right, then you all together move from left to right. But it's just that sometimes you just move it and without telling, it's very difficult. Difficult in a sense that, are you sure this is going to be the last change, the last move? Are you going to move 2 weeks later? Maybe yes. Okay, so what should I do? Sit and eat popcorn first.
Right.
Then only I see again.
So does the goalpost keep moving from you guys when you're in? Like, does it move often?
Honestly, on my end, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I don't know whether it's a good or a bad thing. It's either in a say, it moves because you follow the trend. You understand this is where you need to move now. If it's yes, then yes, you should. You shouldn't be saying, don't worry about what's happening outside. Keep to wherever you want to go.
Yep.
But that could be not the right track at the end of the day. People are doing something that they found is the right recipe, but you still stick to your old recipe, which you know, if you continue this path, it's just going to be the same result with nothing great happen. Yeah, and people are just moving away and faster.
I think the main thing to solve a problem is to actually admit that there is a problem.
Yeah.
Right. So would you say that at least Lazada and the group, you guys admitted at that point of time, or it was just delusional? To stress the delusional as long as possible, slightly, yeah.
At some point of time, I think they knew lah.
I see.
They know they have to face the reality.
Yeah, I
As
think
much as you think that what we are doing is correct, we're just going to do the same thing.
Slightly later lah. But
I think
then
deep down also they know that
Yeah.
competition is tough,
right.
And I think they were slowly accepting that competition
Slowly.
is really tough, right? But on the front, I think also managing such a huge team, I think they were trying to stay positive and say like, you know what, let's not look at what's happening outside and just focus on what we're working on. But yeah, at the same time, we were also fighting a lot of internal battles, right? Like for my side personally, regional had different targets. They wanted to focus on orders, while the Malaysia team wanted to focus on GMV still. So most of the other commercial departments were already moving to, okay, how do we increase orders?
Right.
While on our side, we were still in between, like how do we
invested in that? Okay, it's a very different situation. I think in Shopee, they quickly I mean, like again, I'm a bit pro Shopee. I mean, they did pay my salary for a bit, but they quickly identify TikTok as one of the competitors. Yeah, so I mean, even until today, I still believe that they actually pivot quite quickly, right? Even though may or may not work, it doesn't really matter. Try first, but at least they are constantly moving lah in that sense. I think a lot of resources, I think I read recently also, they moved specifically to live stream, specifically to video content also, which is fairly interesting. Anyone here, Lazada going to live stream? No.
As in?
Like, are they moving towards video or?
Not sure.
Not sure.
No
From
insight.
from where I know, when was still there, not really.
I think coming back to the point that Nick, actually you talk about, like you were like saying that Shopee had more resource. What do you think that is the case? And don't say money, okay? Everyone also got limitation when it comes to money also.
Yeah, I mean, but at that point, Shopee was ready to spend on resources as well. So, like from what I heard, they were hiring through just an Excel form, just putting in Excel like who they need, how many resources, and they just fill it up.
Right.
Like what? So easy to justify for
No lah,
resources.
got KPI to hit one also.
We have a KPI to hit.
Of course.
If you don't hit, then
We've been also on our side, we've been proving with cases and saying like, we need this person, this head count. So these are the numbers that we can start hitting.
and it's harder to actually request for headcount lah.
It was very difficult.
I see. But I do have another a slightly different theory lah. I think tech wise, you guys are a little bit advantage in that sense, right? So you've got China tech to a certain degree, right? I understand a lot of you guys, your stuff there is quite automated already, from arranging SKUs, making last minute changes and stuff like that. It's literally keying in the system. I think for Shopee side here is slightly more manual, right? But pro and cons lah, I think. Is it like that? Do you think that the automation actually helped, or would you rather have more headcounts but more work to be done to move things?
I think it's to a certain degree because, like I mentioned, my department was very different from the typical e-commerce business. So the platform was not built for digital goods.
Right.
So there was still a lot of manual work involved on our end, my team's end, where we had to also help sellers with manual inputs after hours just because we needed to help them. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it. So we were in that business. But for the other commercial teams, I think there were systems already in place.
Right.
So if you remember Treasure Bowl, so people, brands will submit for campaigns and everything is just automated. It's a process that's been created, but it was not for my case. So for sure, if you ask me, resources will definitely help at that point.
But did you guys need to do like a midnight standby and stuff like that?
Oh, of course.
Dude, I need to do it
Especially during mega campagns.
but that time your one still like 1 month once only, right?
Yeah, 1 month once, but it would go up to like 3 days.
Dude, I think by our time already it's like 1 month 2 times, 3 times. Were you like 2 times or 3 times?
I think my team is actually very different from commercial side.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have to go. You don't have to go on standby, right?
We don't have to, but we were there
To support.
lah. Because as you know, our job is all prior to all the campaign.
Yep.
To be done way before, and to us, many of them, all these jobs at work is just BAU because you have to have a consistency of doing it. Doing content, it can't be just staying overnight just to do it before the campaign. It's all pre-planned. So you have to do a lot of content prior to it. You have to do content like we manage a blog. So we have articles up way before the campaign, or we want to push certain topics out, then we will have to have writers to write it for that particular month. So these are all pre-planned for our team. So it's not as hectic as maybe buyers marketing, which they need to ensure that media plan is all well built, scheduled, and run. Yeah. So our site is a bit more manageable, I would say.
Right.
Yeah.
How big was your team back then?
3 only. Very lean. 3 of us.
3?
Yeah.
Including yourself, 3?
Yes.
Writing articles and everything.
We have writers to write for us, but of course we have to feed.
Different department.
That is freelancing.
I see. That was freelancing. Okay.
Correct. That we have writers to write it in a sense that we have to feed them what are the topics we want to talk about, what are the key messages in the articles that we want to deliver. Right. Because at the end of the day, we want to ensure that our blogs have good SEO.
I mean, you guys are team leads on your own respect, right? So I am interested to know, is there any how do you manage them? Culturally, do you build a culture, or you just rely on the company's culture in general? Or I'm gonna keep it very broad.
Moral support,
transparency. Transparency is the key, I would say. Straightforward. You don't have to sugarcoat. No drama. Don't sugarcoat it, because it's very tiring. You have to make sure that you do it in the same story over and over again, just to convince yourself. Then only you convince your team. It's too time wasting.
But if I follow stats, right, I think most of our teams are relatively young, right? Does it work? Do you have specifically a little bit more difficult people to manage?
I have before, but in Lazada it's okay. I think our team's culture is actually quite healthy. I still go back to the part where don't sugarcoat it lah.
Right.
Just straight to the point. Don't have to second guess whatever I'm saying. Or I also don't have to doubt the team to make sure that they deliver things. Right. If you don't trust them, then why hire them?
And when you are a little bit more direct, does that actually do they scared to tell you things or not? Do they?
I guess maybe. maybe, I'm not sure. But it's over time I guess over time, then you will know that the management style that I have is just tell me. Okay. We might have a bit of debate about it, but it's okay. If you don't tell me, how am I supposed to know? If I don't tell you, I also don't know whether you get it or not.
And Nick, 8 people, right?
Yeah, I think I was very fortunate. I had very, very hardworking, very smart team to work with. So when I joined, I only had 2 at that point to help me, and they were just 25. They were very young, first jobs, but they were very driven. Of course, they had their own ways of doing things. But if you understand them, you learn from them. I think they were actually very, very helpful team, and we were all very aligned in terms of where we were heading towards and how we got there. We had very healthy debates on different ways we can approach things. So I was very fortunate to have the team.
So from 2, then you become 8.
Yeah, it took
where got 2 years. Don't give you headcount, got give you headcount.
2 years.
They were growing, right?
Years,
Digital goods were growing at that time.
Yeah. Rapidly.
But any difficulties or any difficult?
Yeah, I think because the team was generally quite young, they don't really have the experience. I mean, I never had the experience in e-commerce as well, but coming into e-commerce, it was very fast-paced. When you hear very fast-paced, it is really fast, right? So I was really trying to understand just the business on its own, trying to understand how it works, and no one is there to help you. But fortunately, like I mentioned, I had the 2 of them that really guide me through and help me see things and guided me along the way. So yeah, I think we grew along after that, in that 2 years, and was really happy with the team. But them being young, of course, also at the same time, they lose track a bit, right? Sometimes you just got to guide them on what needs to be done, how you see things, and yeah, I think they'll work perfectly fine.
Okay. Kiefer, you got 15, right?
I got 15. I mean, the way I work is slightly a bit different to how do I guide the teams lah. So I think the most important thing is that we as a lead, right, we have to be clear that what the directions and what's the objective going to be achieved. I mostly to tell them, I will not sugarcoating. I will just tell them, hey, this is my internal goal. We want to achieve this, but it will be better if you could achieve another set of goal, right? So if you're able to achieve that, I will reward them for something. So let's say I'll bring them for happy hours. After this, let's go for happy hours. Just to treat them like friends or family, right? Just in work, then we can talk about work, okay? But after you're able to achieve a certain of numbers, right? Let's go for celebration and together, okay? And I think have to use the terms like include instead of exclude, right? To tell them that, hey, if I give you something, so we were able to achieve that. So let's do it together. If you really need my help, I will always be there for you all the time, right? But instead of just leading them, just tell them what the direction that I need to moving forward to. But look, I have the KPI going to achieve on this certain numbers. Okay, let's achieve that. But will be better if we achieve extra miles for 15% more, so we can go for another celebrations. That one on me. Let's do that.
This one very carrot and
Yeah.
stick approach. but actually all three of you are quite nurturing. To be honest, quite yeah. I maybe my social skill not that great. I probably distance myself, but I do sometimes do that. But I would really cherish honesty, right? So if you ask me, then I'll tell you, right? So again, very similar. I think a little bit of each of you guys to a certain degree, but I believe in balance, at least, and no bullshit, All right, so okay, interesting.
I think I have something like this saying around the team or the whole division. I used to always tease people saying that if it's not difficult, don't do it. If it's not challenging enough, don't do it. Because it's so simple, then you become too comfortable. If it doesn't challenge you, then it's not exciting. So I always tell them, if it's not difficult, then don't do it. If you find it difficult, challenge it and go for it. Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Useful somehow at the end of the day.
You need
Right?
pain to grow. To a certain degree.
How my agency last time is this is how the route we go through.
Yeah.
Difficult part.
Nick, pain.
I think all that you mentioned, all of our learnings come with experience, I think, right? We hear of it, like know your worth. We always hear, like, even when I was younger, but I never knew my actual worth. So yeah, I see where you're coming from. I think to me, it will be find your passion.
Right.
I think passion is really important in everything that we do.
Yeah.
Again, it's something that I've also been hearing since I was younger. But what is my passion? I always ask myself, what's my passion? What do I want to do? But passion comes in so many ways and form, right? It could be from the simplest thing, like for myself, it's always about making an impact. It could be a small impact in making your life slightly better, bringing convenience to you. It could be anything, right? And I think finding that passion in what you do, especially at your role, will really help the team be aligned with that and be driven together with you as well.
That's interesting. So you create the passion for your team.
Yeah.
Right? If they don't have one, just get on board to mine.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Bryan, what about you?
Wow. I agree with all of you guys, but I think I won't really go towards just one, but it's really more balanced. But I agree with Nick's side there. Like,
Passions?
I think they sometimes they lack directions, right? So sometimes they it's not that they don't want to do better, right? They want to, right? So they want to achieve whatever they can possibly be. It's just that, we were juniors once upon a time before, right? And we always like seek for that Steve Jobs or that mentor to guide us through, right? And I remember struggling with that. I remember waiting for that person until I got fed up and I thought that there is no such person, so therefore just be that person instead, right? So, and I believe that, everyone else is actually looking for it. So just because I cannot find it, then can I be the one to actually like help? If you don't have a passion, let me try to help you find your passion, right? That can also align with the company goals and direction, right? So then only grow together, ma. If not, then if it doesn't work out and which their passion or what they're looking for doesn't really align with whatever we're building, which does happen, all right? So it's never going to be forever Narnia, then that's very unfortunate, lah. But I'll also take it in a very realistic kind of like lens. And if it doesn't work out, then well, then we'll just have to find something that actually works better for them, lah. Because I just don't want them to lose that value, right? They could have been better somewhere else, right? Whether if it's be their own KOL or whatnot, and which I have some people like that, and they're actually striving better in a different category. After this, I kind of like want to know, like, okay, after tech, how's life like, guys?
Good.
All the serious talk and everything. Now I want to talk about like what's the future
What's
holding for
next?
you guys. Like, what do you guys have? You guys like used anything from what you guys learned from tech to actually adapt to what you're currently doing?
I run my own digital marketing agency, and this company has been around, I think, 2014. Okay, I think it's 2024. It's close to 10 years, but has been dormant during the COVID time. Yeah, because of zero retentions and all the customers, I think I put all egg in basket. This is what I learned in the business. You shouldn't put all egg in one basket. So I put all egg in one basket, then one customer just gone, then the agency is really literally zero retentions at all.
Right.
So I was lucky, then I'm able to join Shopee.
Yep.
Yeah, then I learned a lot in Shopee. Then whatever that I just go through the retrenchment, I bring it back. What I learned in Shopee, I just put it back in my own my agency. So just pivot it, then rebrand the agency, and it works on different type of strategy.
So I remember the time it was your agency at the point of time was more focused on POSM, was more focused on
Below the line,
branding, right?
yeah.
So below the line and above the line. Then I think the experience in Shopee is a little bit different. Then you were thinking a little bit more digital. Right now
Yeah,
you're actually
thinking
adding a little bit more digital stuff into
Towards
it, right?
about more 60% digital, 40% we still go back to below the line, because somehow some of the clients still require of
Yep.
below the line just to support the offline platforms, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And Ashleigh, know you have new plans, new ideas, new things that you're building on.
Yes, I have a product of my own. Created it with my sister. So my sister is a naturopath, is also a nutritionist. Taking into her expertise, we actually created a product for children aged 2 years old and above, 2 years old to 12 years old. So it's like a kid supplement. So this kid supplement is actually looking into the very fundamental issue that many kids or children in Malaysia are having or experiencing. Kids nowadays don't get enough sleep. So this product basically to cover the gap of why children are having so much issue with their immunity, also issue with not sleeping well. A lot of picky eaters out there, they just simply don't want to eat sometimes. And kids also have too much of screen time that makes them can't sleep. And I asked a lot of parents, and they were saying that, oh, my kids actually slept at 12 years old. I said, wow, your kids is actually 5 years old, slept at 12 hours, 12 a.m. And they need to wake up like 6 or 7 in the morning to go to daycare or, to nanny, or even if they need to go to school. Looking at that, as an adult, if you're sleeping at 12, wakes up at 6 or 7, you don't get enough sleep. Moreover, a children, which is growing stage. So we have this supplement actually to help them to sleep better because of a patented product or ingredient in there. So this ingredient helps them to sleep better, no night waking, making sure that they have a calm and a bit calm and steady emotions throughout the day. So that's when they go to sleep, they can have better sleep in the sense of deep sleep. So we know that sleep cycle is as 4 sleep cycles, comes with REM and also deep sleep. So if you don't get enough deep sleep, meaning you're actually not resting. Right. So we always have this, I slept 8 hours, it should be fine for me. But I still wakes up in the morning and feel like shit. So why is that happening? Because we either don't get quality sleep, we dream a lot. For kids, bad wetting, it could be teeth grinding. So it's also a form of stress for children. And we always thought that why kids are stressful nowadays. Are you sure? There's only 5 years old. What to stress about? Not money. To probably stress about not having enough milk.
Wish I was 5.
Food. Exactly. But they do get stressed with the environment, with the people around them. Teachers actually looking at them, having them, making them do things. Parents actually telling them, don't touch that, don't do that. And whatever they see, actually all these are stress to children. So if they don't handle that stress properly, don't handle it in a good way, they will affect their growth. Yeah.
And your product is around what age to what age?
2 to 12 years old.
Okay.
Yes. So this helps them to sleep good at night.
It's a very radical change, right? From like tech, right? So dating sellers, and then why kids? Like why this particular product? Is there a reason specifically?
There are a couple of from the research, from what I read, there's a few different industry that you should be looking at as the upcoming industry. Okay, so we know children industry, it's lucrative.
Right.
The elderly one, and also anything to do with sustainable energy. These are the big things happening already, definitely.
Yep.
You see home care, elderly care, all this in a very luxury way, in a very personalized way. Same for children. Parents don't mind to spend if it's good for children. Because at the end of the day, if they are healthy, they are good, the one that's having the lesser problem will be the parents. They don't mind to pay for that. Yeah. So these are the things that's happening already. It's already evolving to where it's kind of gonna get matured soon.
Yep.
Very, very soon. If you don't jump on it, it's either you're gonna be the followers,
Yep.
which I think the market is big enough. Although we say that the birth rate is actually shrinking, but yes, it's still enough.
Okay.
Still good enough.
So,
And
so right after Lazada, then you went on to this journey, right? So
Yes.
so I mean, I'm a little bit more onto the executioner side, so I kind of like want to know, like, this is you got to get the cert, you got to get someone to actually do the R&D with and stuff like that. Like, it's not an easy journey in that
Yes.
sense, right? So I'm curious, man. How do you start? If I want to do exactly that, like, how do I like start? Where do I even begin?
the thought of having a product of your own, it's exciting. It's something that you can call your own. And when you manage to manufacture it, created it, and it's on shelf, it's some sense of energy where push you to, okay, I want to do more. So yes, the entrepreneurial journey it can be good and bad at the same time. Good in the sense that, wow, it's a whole new world. You're learning so many things, and you suddenly felt that actually I don't know it much of my life. And then all your network, it's very different because whatever you worked before, these are all colleagues that probably not in the same industry that you are currently doing. Because mine is, if you say tech, suddenly this is kids supplement.
Yep.
It's not like some kind of tech thing.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it in a, there's research behind it, but it's not in that way. So how do you go into retail suddenly? How do you work around that? How does all this trade going on? So it's new learning, and then you start to meet new people, people that talks differently in a very business or in a very way that makes sure that what's in it for them. At the end of the day, what's in it for me also. So all I have in mind is, of course, I want to be successful. At the end of the day, I want people to actually enjoy the product that I have, with the same thinking that I'm helping them to solve a problem.
Right.
Because it's all about understanding the market gap, and we know parents actually need this to ensure that their kids grow healthily. I have parents actually told us that my kids can't sleep at night, and I have to feed them cough syrup.
Wow.
That's very extreme.
Okay.
That's the only way to do it, because you can't say a child as young as 3 years old, how can you make them sleep? Are you just gonna whack him and just let him down?
Wow.
No, it wouldn't help. So the best way is let them get drowsy a little bit,
Right.
nice and chill, then probably they will sleep.
Cough syrup.
But how long? I mean, like, so the product is already existing already
Yes.
as of now, right? So
Yes,
how long
yes.
did it took you to actually build that product?
A year plus.
A year plus.
Yes.
And currently it's already on shelf.
Yes, it's
Wow.
on shelf. On some of the
that's-
smaller, medium-sized pharmacies, some
Right.
private pharmacies.
Interesting.
Yeah. Then we sold it on. We also sold it on relevant platform that actually talks to this target audience.
Lazada. Lazada.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Lazada, Shopee. Yep.
Okay. The company's name is Inspire Joy. The product name is
Yes.
Inspire Joy, right? So
Company name is Inspire Joy. Our product is called iJoy Kids.
okay.
Yeah.
And is there any like plans for it? Like what's new? What's next? What are you
Big
working
plans, definitely big plans, in the sense that we want to see how far it can stretch, how far we can go. But definitely now we want to focus on one product first. We want to make it good as our main product. We want people to associate us with this product, as in we are pioneer in promoting kids
on? Okay.
quality sleep.
Right.
Because we have a tagline says that children's health begins with quality sleep. The association with it is, if you sleep well, everything will be good as well. So it's as simple as, if we sleep well as an adult, the next morning we feel fresh. we are okay and able to go to work. But if we don't sleep well, we have dreams, we have stress out at night, we can't actually fall asleep. The next morning you feel like shit. All you can do is drink a couple more coffee. But for kids, they can't. They will just throw tantrum at you. They just don't want to eat whatever you prepare for them. Yeah, that's going to be trouble. They can't focus in the school. So academic, everything is going to be bad. So we don't want that to happen.
I mean, especially for kids. I remember, if I remember correctly, I think I read somewhere that most of the growth actually happens when you're asleep, right? So
Yes.
when you turn off the
Recovery.
lights, correct.
Yes.
Recovery, growth, even height. Yeah. So potentially, why am I so short? Is also because I didn't have enough sleep.
It's a very straightforward thing. When you are sick, what doctors tell you is take
Get some
medicine,
rest.
sleep.
Yeah.
Take MC, go
Yeah.
rest. It's the same for children. If they have enough rest, they will actually grow. Yeah.
Nick, what
Yeah.
you up to, bro?
Interesting. And you brought this business up also, and congrats.
Thank you.
I say interesting because two of my ex-colleagues that are now called buddies from Lazada, they were new parents, recently had kids, and one day he came to me with a problem that he had. He, obviously being the father, new father, he needs to be the one that's taking the night shift, taking care of his kids, his baby, right? So he will need to defrost the milk, thaw the milk, prep the milk, and
Defrost the milk.
yeah.
Breast milk.
The breast milk.
breast
Yes,
milk,
correct.
okay.
The breast milk. Sorry. Yeah. Defrost the breast milk, thaw the milk, and
Sorry, you need to freeze your breast milk, mah?
yeah. If you can't latch
Right.
the entire time, let's say if the wife is working, you need to
So you
freeze
freeze-
your breast milk.
Okay.
Right?
So it can
that
last for a few days.
if it's frozen, it'll last for 6 months, up to 6 months.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting.
facts.
Interesting.
Now I know.
Now you know. Yeah, you already be parents. Yeah, so he was sharing this experience with me, and he was saying, what if I can simplify this whole experience? Because it was so painful. He's waking up at 2, 3 a.m., making sure the milk is at the right temperature while the baby is just screaming and crying, right? So he came out with this new business of his, and it's a business that freeze dries breast milk. So by freeze drying breast milk, it becomes shelf stable. You have the convenience of formula milk. You just pour into water, shake it, and it's just ready to be fed. Right. So he mentioned that the benefits would, of course, extend its validity. It's not only 3 to 6 months now, but it's up to 3 years. You preserve all your nutrients, and it's of course convenience.
3 years.
3 years, shelf stable. You don't need to waste your freezer space anymore. You don't have to worry that you have power outages and stuff like that, right? Because it's just shelf stable. Yeah, I thought it was interesting, so I got my family to invest into it.
I see.
Yeah.
That's why, man. You, very similar to your management style. All like very nurturing, all kids and all. It's like
Yeah, but I think we truly believe in the service, and yeah, just FYI, they're called the Breast Milk Company. They're going to be newly launched, and I think it has a value, right? And I think that's the impact that can be made by these guys.
Right.
They understand the real pain of what parents are going through,
Right.
and they have that solution to solve.
interesting. Okay. So I think that's it. That's it. That's what we have for this round.
Today.
That's the
For
part.
today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.